And welcome back to the Zanpakuto creation series. Today's Zanpakuto that we are creating is for the character of Mob Psycho 100. His actual name, I believe, is Shigeo. Where is his actual name? Hold on. It's Shigeo Kageyama. There we go. Shigeo Kageyama is his actual name. But for the sake of this entire video, we'll be calling him Mob. The lead character of Mob Psycho. He is a character who's basically below average in pretty much everything, but has unparalleled psychic abilities. He's kind of the Saitama of his universe, basically. This enables him to do many, many different things, many different abilities. But he has different, and all his level of powers and the way he uses it is all dependent on his emotional state. So for me, I'm just thinking, what does a Zanpakuto for a character like this who has really no physical attributes whatsoever? It's like a complete wimp physically. Does not even generally want to be fighting, but when his psychic abilities, flare up, there's no stopping him. What does that look like for a Zanpakuto? Well, first and foremost, I do believe that this guy has a tanto for his Zanpakuto. Tanto is a Japanese short sword. It's a dagger, basically. And this, I think, actually makes sense, even though he has a vast amount of spiritual pressure, or would have a vast amount of spiritual pressure in this case. He's below average in just about everything else. It would make sense that the blade itself is not very strong in terms of what it is capable of. In terms of like physical assault, because he's not a physical attacking guy, so it would make sense that it's not a katana in this case. It would actually be something like a tanto. In terms of the type of Zanpakuto it is, I think we can all agree it would most likely be a Kido type. It's not a melee type because he's clearly not a melee type person. It's not I don't think it'd be like a living creature type. Living creature types are very rare. I think I've done one living creature type so far. Living creature types are rare. And I don't think it would be an elemental Zanpakuto. I don't think there's anything that really implies elemental nature with this character. So it's a Kido type. But what exactly does it do? What exactly is its name? What exactly is its release? The spirit, all of that. Well, first and foremost, the release command, I think, would be hold. Now, not hold as in to hold on to something, but hold on to something physically. But as in hold as in stay where you are, hold. That's what I mean. That's what I mean by the term hold. The name of this Zanpakuto would be, and remember, I get the Japanese names from Google Translate because I don't know actual kanji and characters, and therefore I don't know how to create an actual name. So I'm just basically going off the translations and going from there. The Japanese name would be Slow Start for the Shikai, Slow Start, which translates to Shuro Sutato. The Bankai would be Slow Start, Quick to Finish. So Shuro Sutao Kuro Kukakuto Ufishisho. It's a very wordy Bankai, honestly. But I'll read that again one more time. Shuro Sutato Kuro Kukato Ufishisho. It's kind of like finish, but finisho. Ushifinisho. So what is this Bankai, or what is this Bankai? What does this Zanpakuto look like? And what does this Zanpakuto do? And last but not least, what is the spirit of this Zanpakuto? What does the spirit of this blade look like? And that is a very fair question that we will answer in just a second, as I just lost my... There it is. The spirit of the Zanpakuto, because of the slow nature of it, when I say slow nature, understand, I mean that's kind of where it's coming from, is that of a humanoid turtle. This comes from Magic the Gathering, so it's completely fair use to use, and so I don't have to be naming people who made it. But yeah, kind of a turtle druid. Now, why is it now I haven't gone into what the Zanpakuto does yet, admittedly, but why do I feel like Slow Start works with this character? A Zanpakuto that maybe takes a little bit to get going. Well, I feel that works with Mob because Mob is not an aggressive individual. He's not immediately going out for revenge most of the time, from the little I know of the series. I've never read or watched it myself, but I do know a little bit. I know a little bit about just about any character that's on this series. I know more about others than some, but still. Um, but uh, but the little I know is like he's kind of like a Saitama a little bit, where he's not usually openly looking for like someone to fight, but when someone challenges him or someone's causing trouble, he's there and he's there to help. So because he's not an aggressive individual, a more passive Zanpakuto, at least initially, I think is the smarter way to go. And what this Zanpakuto Shikai would do is as follows. The user basically sticks the sword in the ground. The ground, then a reishi dome in the shape of a turtle shell surrounds the user. The Shikai basically absorbs damage, and the strength and strengthens the defense of the shell. So basically, because Mob is someone who can kind of, using his psychic abilities, can kind of absorb hits and is not an aggressive person, a passive defensive Zanpakuto makes more sense. Now, obviously, this Zanpakuto would have some weaknesses. The Shikai would be easily overpowered by someone who's got more power than Mob at that point. It has a set base of defensive capabilities from the get based on his Ryatsu. And it only then later on gains more strength as more damage tries to go into it. Like, for instance, if Ikaku tried to take on his Shikai, it would just absorb all the damage, and then like stronger individuals coming in, like Renji trying to break it, wouldn't be able to break it. But if someone like Kenpachi were to try to slice that thing up, he'd cut through that in an instant. This character does not have the defensive capabilities to stop someone like Kenpachi, even in base form. So it's like that. A captain, I doubt he'd be a captain per se, but he would still be a very unique individual in terms of the Shikai. His Bankai is actually very simple in my mind, but it adds the offensive capabilities of him as well, because he does have offensive capabilities with his psychic abilities. I'm saying abilities a lot. Drink every time I say abilities. He does have offensive capabilities along with his defensive abilities, thanks to his psychic abilities. Shot. And I figured the Bankai would be the expression of that, where basically the segments of the shell separate and combine and use the power. Use the power for offensive and still defensive. Basically, think of it like a very small but still very smaller version, but larger at the same time version of like Zenbone Zakura, where the shell represents the blade in case of Zenbone Zakura. The segments separate, and a turtle shell. I'm gonna just get a picture of. I'm not obviously gonna get it up right now, but I'm gonna get a turtle shell. Or maybe a tortoise shell is probably better. Turtle shell. So a turtle shell has, depending on this, like the species of turtle, actually has quite a few segments to it. Like if I'm looking at just a standard tortoise shell right now, I am seeing, if I can get a good picture for myself up here, I am seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 12, and then there's the rim of the turtle shell, which looking here, I'm looking at like an actual turtle shell right now. Oh man, that's actually at least 20 different segments right there as well. So you're looking at not a Zenbone Zakura of any kind in terms of how many blades it's producing or how many weapons it's producing. Something that's producing almost around 30, maybe 40 different blades. The only difference is these blades are much larger than something like Zenbone Zakura's tiny flower petals. These are like this shit. This is a giant turtle dome that has probably been enveloping the entire user and anyone underneath it. It could probably cover. At least a good small group of people, 4 or 5. So you're looking at, they're probably the size minimum of like a manhole cover. At least the bigger ones are probably even bigger than that, maybe like twice the size of a manhole. So you have someone who can control these, and they're powered by all the strength that they have absorbed in the battle so far. They can still be used for defense, create the turtle shell again. They can be separated and used for offense. Thrown as blades, uses like concussive pushing blasts, or put them all in a row and just fire them straight at someone. They could definitely be useful in combat and dangerous in combat. Again, not a Zenbone Zakura per se, but or Zenbone Zakura, hell, not even Zenbone Zakura, but not a Zenbone Zakura Kageyoshi per se. But because of the actual nature of the Shikai, it does lend itself to being exceptionally powerful in Bankai if you go against the right opponent. The problem is the Bankai itself is inherently weak, because if you're going up against an opponent that isn't using an ability that's physical, so they're not crashing into the dome all the time, this turtle shell. Let's say a perfect example of this would be Aizen or Shinji, who don't use physical attacks. I mean, they can obviously use physical attacks with Kido and their Zanpakutos like in Melee, but they don't need physical attacks because their Shikais and their Zanpakutos aren't physical, but they're illusion-based. They're manipulation-based. Another Zanpakuto that'd be very apt against this would be like Ichimonji. Of course, Ichimonji is good against literally anything on the planet. But still, Ichimonji is a perfect example of that where it's because of its a unique ability, it doesn't work that way. Or even Shunsui, depending on how the battle goes and what game he's using, he could easily get in and bypass the turtle shell. So the Bankai would actually only be as strong as the turtle shell's initial release and his initial Ryatsu strength, because he wouldn't have been feeding off anything other power. So yeah, I think it would be a very unique Bankai, but it's a Bankai, and honestly, a very unique Zanpakuto. A Zanpakuto that's really only good against specific types of opponents. Like Barigon would be a terrible opponent for this guy, just for obvious reasons. I would even say Sailapero would be a bad opponent for this guy. Zomari might be a bad guy because he might just blitz him. But yeah, of course, that's also saying that these characters would be these characters are probably already stronger than Mob is already. Honestly, at some point when we get enough characters from a certain series, I'd love to do a 13 Court Guard Squad video of all the characters I made, or the Zanpakutos I made. Like, whenever we get through all the Naruto characters, we've already done Sasuke, Naruto. I've already got Kakashi lined up, actually, and I've actually got Sakura lined up as well at some point. But whenever we get around, and Hinata, I've done Hinata too. But whenever, like, maybe like the not their rookie 12, the rookie 13, including Sai, like doing a 13 Court Guard Squad with them video, that'd be kind of cool. Doing the My Hero Academia's, their 13 Court Guard Squad, what does that look like? There's a lot of cool stuff you could do there. Honestly, and I could go even further with that. I could make that, like, there's captains and then lieutenants, but very powerful lieutenants with Bankais. So anyway, I digress. So that, in my opinion, is Mob's Zanpakuto. What do you think about Zanpakuto? Do you agree with the creation? Do you disagree with it? What would you do differently if you do disagree with it? It's cool if you disagree with it. We're all human. We all got our opinions. That's all it is. It's just opinion. So let me know what you think of the comments below. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Hit that bell for to be notified. I'm going to pre-record my Who Would Win for tomorrow. And I've got my review for Halloween coming out later tonight. So thanks for watching. I'll see you folks later.